for many of us, the dark place is not about the finances or the car or the house. It might be going on between your two ears. It's in your head. It's in your mind, or it's in your health, or it's in the fact that you can't get loved the way you need to be loved or held the way you need to be held. And you're successful in every other area, but in the area where you feel like you need it most, you cannot find it. I'm trying to tell you that God always reserves a place to plant his seed, and that the seed will always germinate in the dark place.
This is the potter's touch.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, in the name of Jesus Christ, our King. I'm so excited about this new book that I have released called Instinct, and the feedback that I'm getting. Lives being changed, careers being changed, people going back to school, opening up businesses, starting careers, changing relationships, marriages, as people begin to understand their core values and what they were created to do. Living your life by God's design and what he created you to do will really change the result and the impact and how fulfilled you are in life. I want to continue this discussion. The materials that are in the book are too comprehensive to put on television. They're too in-depth indeed. But I do want to share some excerpts and thoughts along the lines of instinct that would help you to locate that God-given influence that he has in your life. There is a reason that you are more fruitful in a crowd, or more fruitful in private, more effective when you do this or that, where you are inclined to music or not inclined to it. All of these are little clues that God put in your DNA to guide you into your purpose and into your destiny. You're all up in everybody else's face, but you really need to be looking at you and finding out how you are wired and functioning in that, moving in it, flowing in it, investing in the area that you are instinctively created will make you so much more effective and so much more profitable. Let's take a look at some thoughts that I believe, tailored to the continuity of your situation, will make you far more effective and a whole lot less frustrated. Take a look. I got into some crazy stuff trying to figure this out. I ended up in some crazy jobs and some crazy careers with some crazy people trying to figure out who I was. Somebody say, finally, brethren. I'm 40 and I'm just now having a finally, brethren. I'm 52 and I'm just now having a finally, brethren. I'm 61 and I finally got a finally, brethren. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true. In other words, whatsoever things are core. Whatsoever things are true, your truth. Finally, brethren, I have finally started thinking and investing and working from a true place. Took me a long time to find a true place. I had to cut away a lot of stuff to find a true place. Finally, brethren. My God. Whatsoever things are true. The other thing I think is important to realize, you can't spend out of your core if you don't invest in your core. You have to invest into what you have. What you legitimately have. What are you gifted at? What are you inclined to? Where are your passions? And then to put the greatest effort and the greatest energy and the greatest resources right into that sweet spot of something you can manifest, something you can deliver, some area. The very first thing that God says to me, very first thing, is to say, be fruitful. And we read it, we walk on. We don't realize that to be fruitful means that you have to discover your seed. He didn't ask him to produce a cow or a goat. You can only be fruitful according to the understanding of what is in your core, okay? That's what you're gonna be working from all of your life. And so the more we can help people to discover what's in their core, what they are instinctive about, what they were created to be, the more you'll see a change in how they end up. What are you thinking about you? What are you thinking about your house and your life? Could it be that your attitude is defeating your altitude? You can't change the house, and you can't change the kids, and you can't change the wife, and you can't change the husband, and you're wearing yourself out trying to change things that are not your purview. But you can change your mind. The oddest thing, when the prodigal son changed his mind, it changed his life. It simply changed his life. Finding the purest thing alone does not bring about the transformation. Amen. The transformation cannot totally be complete through discovery. It has to go from discovery, we found the seed, to putting the seed in the dark place. The seed cannot germinate in the light. The only place where the seed can be transformed is if you have the faith and the courage to put it in the dark place. The dark place. We all have them. The dark place is the place where you swear you're gonna die. Where your heart is broken so bad you don't even care if you do. I don't care how rich you are. Please hear this. I don't care what you drive or where you live or how talented or how gifted you might be. Sooner or later, before your promotion, before your elevation, before your success, before your consecration, before your renewal, before your celebration, before your victory, you must be willing to spend time in the dark place. There is a place in every person's life that is so dark. And you come to church and you sit here and you think nobody else in this building goes through what I go through. They don't understand, because for many of us, the dark place is not about the finances or the car or the house. It might be going on between your two ears. It's in your head. It's in your mind, or it's in your health, or it's in the fact that you can't get loved the way you need to be loved, or held the way you need to be held. And you're successful in every other area, but in the area where you feel like you need it most, you cannot find it. I'm trying to tell you that God always reserves a place to plant his seed. And that the seed will always germinate in the dark place. And I know you've been praying for God to remove the dark place. But you cannot be transformed without the dark place. The dark place changes your priorities, strips away the residue of your flesh. The dark place brings you to your knees, to a place of humility where you surrender because of the pain of your dark place. You listen when you wouldn't listen before, and you hear what you wouldn't hear before, because the dark place is so painful that it humbles your arrogance and brings you to submission and brings you down to your knees. You've been walking around in a dark place. You got dressed in a dark place. You drove to work in a dark place. You comb your hair in a dark place. You're all dressed up, but you're in a dark place. You spray cologne on it, but you're in a dark place. You put makeup on, but you're in a dark place. The people who work with you don't know that they're working with somebody who's in a dark place, and you're laying in the bed beside somebody who's in a dark place. How you doing? I'm fine. What do you want? Coffee. What did you cook? Eggs. All of your lines are being recited from a dark place, not because you don't have something, but because you do have something. God said there is too much in you to leave you on the shelf. I put you in the dark place so that I could bless you and show you your possibilities and your potential, and you cannot grow in the light. You can only develop when I plant you in a dark place. So I dug a hole and I threw you in it and I covered you up. Trust me, you're not gonna die.
Still to come on The Potter's Touch.
I want to talk to you about your cognitive skills on a spiritual level. Are you learning what you need to be learning about life, about love, and about you? Or are you able to see information that you don't process effectively? And are you being retained from graduation because you are unable to learn what the last test was supposed to teach you? There's a tree inside of this apple, but it'll never reach best expression of itself if it's not transformed.
Reach new levels in Bishop Jake's Transformational Instinct.
Everything that ever held you back, tell your neighbor, I gotta throw it behind.
It's about change.
Mind-boggling.
Get to the core of who God created you to be. Receive Transformational Living on CD when you help us reach others with your gift of any size.
All I gotta do is pull my hands off of things and anchor myself on who I am. And though the storms keep on raging, if I have found my core, I have anchored my soul.
For your gift of $70 or more, you will receive the entire Transformational Instinct series on DVD. But when you sow a gift of $140 or more, you will also receive the Instinct wall hanging and Bishop Jake's profound new book, Instinct.
This is the year that pushes you into the next dimension.
Transformation begins now.
Talk to women who are called to go into the next dimension.
Register today for Woman Thou Art Loose 2014 at WTAL.org or call 1-800-BISHOP-2.
One morning, the Mega Care team was distributing food to families infected with HIV/AIDS in the slums of Nairobi. We made our way through shadowy corners, paths, and endless landfills until we arrived at a clearing where we came across a brittle woman lying on a makeshift cot with her head on a pillow. As we approached, that pillow began to move and we realized it was her infant child she was protecting from the elements. Her name was Belinda, and her family of 5 had been evicted from their home the night before. Medcare was able to provide her family with enough food for 2 weeks, bring her rent balance up to date, and pay an additional 3 months. That simple encounter with Belinda that day shook me to my core and will resonate in my heart forever.
Oh my God, it's been so revelatory and just digging down in what's already instinctual to me. And just it's kind of just waking up a lot of things that were just kind of lying dormant, or I just wasn't sure as to which way to go. It's just already speaking to stuff that was already inside. And today I just feel like, oh my God, this lion just came roaring out of me. And I just feel like things broke in the spirit whereas they were held up.
You will not die in your dark place, but you will think you're going to die in your dark place. It is in the dark place where the seed goes through transformation. It is in the dark place where life begins to form. No life forms outside of the womb. The womb is to the baby what the ground is to the seed. All consummation occurs in a dark place. No lights in the womb. Fingers formed in the dark place. Tissue comes together in the dark place. Bones begin to form skeletal patterns in the dark place. Suddenly there's a kick and a move in the dark place. The baby is totally covered and completely protected, because whenever God is working his work and doing his magic, he will always do it in the dark place. That's why the creation says the evening and the morning were the first day, because God's day doesn't start morning to evening. It starts evening to morning. That's why the Bible said weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. You cry in the dark place so that you can dance in the daylight. I want to tell you, about the dark place, because the Lord assured me that there'd be somebody here in the dark place. You don't think anybody knows how bad you hurt. And I just came to tell you, I'm your pastor. And I do too. Knowing the scriptures doesn't stop you from having to live through them.
This series is really teaching me and just showing me, talking about instincts and how to apply it to my life. And since I'm going to a whole new arena, a whole new level.
In my life, there's a lot of strongholds that maybe I'm comfortable with that are not pleasing to the Lord or motivating me to be the best person that I can be. And so what the message really challenged me to do is to think about those strongholds and to challenge myself to break away from them with God's help.
This apple as good as it is, it will never be the highest and best expression of itself in its current form. And the reason it won't be is because there's a tree inside of this apple. But it'll never reach the highest and best expression of itself if it's not transformed. Let me see. I got some peelings up here. And if I'm going to transform the apple, what would happen if I took these peelings and maybe if I buried them? I wouldn't get a tree out of it? Why not? Oh, there's no seed in it. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna eat this one. What about if I bury this, if I plant this? Oh, it tastes good though. This is good. I'm not gonna be able to do it. So if I'm gonna get to anything, I gotta get down I'm down to the core. I know I'm down to the core. You know how I know I'm down to the core? Because I see seed. I see seed. And what we want to do is get past all of this fleshly stuff and get you down to the core so you can find your seeds. Because your future is in your seed. And none of this other stuff matters. You either cut down to it or you rot down to it. But until you get down to the core, you'll never be effective. I look at church people sometimes, they tickle me. They dance and shout and spin around on one foot and they say, you know, I'm coming out. But real change isn't joyful. Real transformation is often stressful. You go into dark places. You confront parts of yourself that aren't happy. You confront parts of yourself that are really challenging. And if you have the courage to do that, if you have the courage to lift the bar beyond your grasp and dare to leap for it, then suddenly your potentials evolve. And to that person who's in a dark place right now, that's just a part of the process. Don't build a house in it, pitch a tent in it, but don't build a house in it, because it will ultimately evolve into something far better, far bigger, and far more effective. Paul said in Ephesians chapter 1, he said, I pray that the eyes of your thinking, your understanding, the eyes of your understanding be enlightened. He said, I'm praying for you in your dark place, that you would be enlightened in the way you understand your situation. I'm praying that the eyes of your understanding may be enlightened, that you may know what is the hope of his calling, what he hoped for when he planted you, what he hoped for when he exposed you to that dark place. He said, I want you to work with me on this. And in order for you to work with me, your understanding has to be enlightened. You have to have transformational thinking. You have to think about it differently. You have to see where you are as an incubator. It is not a destination, it's transportation. I feel like I'm talking to somebody. Now, when you get into transformation, you get into cognitive skills. We normally hear cognitive skills when we talk about the child development and their ability to comprehend, and their cognitive skills embrace how they process brain waves and perform functions and retain reasoning and galvanize information. Cognitive skills. How do you ingest, digest, and appropriate what's going on around you into action? Cognition, recognition, recognizing, processing, using, and retaining where you are. I want to talk to you about your cognitive skills on a spiritual level? Are you learning what you need to be learning about life, about love, and about you? Or are you able to see information that you don't process effectively? And are you being retained from graduation because you are unable to learn what the last test was supposed to teach you? When you go from one level to another level, it is not just the layering on of truth as you gain experiences. Watch this, because this is very important. It is not just a layering of truth where you learn the truth in the first grade and you learn more truth in the second grade and you learn more truth in the third grade and you learn more truth in the fourth grade. There are some truths that cancel out old truths. It was true until I learned a higher truth. I'll be back right after this. There's a tree inside of this apple, but it'll never reach best expression of itself if it's not transformed.
Reach new levels in Bishop Jake's Transformational Instinct.
Everything that ever held you back, tell your neighbor, I gotta throw it behind.
It's about change.
Mind-boggling.
Get to the core of who God created you to be. Receive Transformational Living on CD when you help us reach others with your gift of any size.
All I gotta do is pull my hands off of things and anchor myself on who I am, and though the storms keep on raging, if I have found my core, I have anchored my soul.
For your gift of $70 or more, you will receive the entire Transformational Instinct series on DVD. But when you sow a gift of $140 or more, you will also receive the Instinct wall hanging and Bishop Jake's profound new book, Instinct.
This is the year that pushes you into the next dimension.
Transformation begins now.
I want to talk to women who are called to go into the next dimension.
Register today for Woman Thou Art Loose 2014 at WTAL.org or call 1-800-BISHOP2.
I'm out of time. I've got to stop there. It's been a real joy to have an opportunity to just share with you a very practical, pragmatic. I didn't do a lot of shouting and hooping and hollering. I want to think with you because life is precious. You can't just dance through it. You need a strategy and some structure in your life. If you would do that, you would not have to use church to anesthetize the failures of your life. You could use it to infuse you with power and invigorate you to live bodaciously and courageously your life, not imitating anybody else, but what did God put in you and how will you take that and mass produce it and give it back to us? You've got 12 baskets full left. Don't walk away from your miracle. Take care.